Great. Talks about life. Scene Nick, take 3.
And you have a DP that you always work with, or as much as possible, Matt Turvy.
Mm-hmm.
How did you meet him and start working with him?
Well, he's like one of like a couple of DPs that I know, because one thing I like to have is I want to build a team. I want to build a team of people who are as dedicated as I am. Good. I say this modestly, and I mean this, like as good as I feel that I expect, and I am a little bit. I think I'm okay. I think there's people who are way better than what I do, but you know.
Your awards say otherwise, but okay.
No, that's actually a good,
Go on.
But that's a thing though. It's like, you know, when 50 people tell you you're good at something.
Right.
I mean, I'd be stupid not to know that, but I always have this level-headedness of just like, I'm maybe good, but there's people who are always better.
Right.
Obviously.
Well, it allows you to continue learning, so you don't get to a point where you're just like, I am a director now.
Yeah.
Do not speak to me.
Oh no, that's the way I see it. Is like I'm never going to make it, even if I become Spielberg. I'm like, not there yet. I'm gonna be like that. That's what I try to do. But so I always try to have I've been trying to build my team, and so Matt is one of like 3 DPs that I actually really believe in and trust, who actually could get, because I'm very particular about my visuals, especially in today's YouTube era where everyone and their mother who owns an iPhone is like, I'm a filmmaker.
Right.
So. Oh man, people are gonna hate me. But you know, I met Matt through the film school. He was my instructor. Yeah, it was Matt. He was my instructor, and he then through Golan, like years later, when I was making a short film of mine, an award-winning short film of mine called Friend Request, and Golan recommended him as my DP, and we worked together. We made something amazing. Again, it was amazing what we put together. Actually, we had done something prior to that, but that was our first thing that we were really proud of, that we actually did, because the other one kind of fell apart. And then over the years, we just kind of created a rapport. What's great about him and I is that he's very organic with coming up with ideas. You know, I've worked with DPs before who are good, but you know, just you tell them what to do, and sometimes I need someone who will take the reins and who will at least be as creative as I expect them to be. And what's great about him is that he has that, but also listen, but at the same time, him and I, a couple times, we'll butt heads because I'm like, no, that's not a good idea. And it's like, yes, it is. But again, we laugh it off later on, and especially after when we win the contest, we're just like, it was worth it, you know? We're like brothers, annoyed brothers.
You mentioned Friend Request earlier, so you made that short film, and then not too long after, Hollywood came out with Unfriended, which you have an opinion about.
Yes. Actually, again, remember I was saying that meeting with Beverly Hills, it was for a feature version of Friend Request, and
Oh.
Yeah, so that was, again.
Which didn't happen because of?
Because of Unfriended. We were working on the script for 6-7 months. And then one day I'm on MTV, Unfriended comes up, and I'm just freaking out. And I might throw this in the ring right now. If you checked out Deadline recently, a film called Friend Request is coming out sometime this year. And I mean, the posters, their poster and my poster look almost drastically the same. I'm not the kind of person who just be like, oh, they stole my idea, because I think it's very unlikely. But this is a situation where it's like,
But not the only situation, which brings me to my other point. Not point, but thing. You made a short fan film of 50 Shades of Grey.
Yes. Yes, I did.
And then the posters came out.
Yes. I'm one of the very few men who could comfortably say I enjoy the book, and not for the reasons that people think. It's the sex stuff and all that stuff is that's interesting, but not the reason why I read it. I'm a bit of a feminist in my own right. I try to be. I don't want to go out and say I am, because I don't know. I don't think that's my right to say. I think a woman.
I think Emma Watson is changing that for us all.
True, that's very true.
She's made it's okay to be a male feminist.
True. I just feel like a woman needs to say it's cool. It's cool. I just it's like that for me. But I try to tell like strong stories about strong female characters. That's what I've always done. A lot of my movies have that. It's not what I only do, but I just feel like I like that, and I always like. I have a lot of female friends because I just like the ideas and the stories that they could tell, and I just always kind of relate to women in a lot of way. And when I read the book, I thought like this is an interesting story about like who we are behind closed doors, how we present ourselves in real life as opposed to how I present myself to like my significant other, and most importantly like the dichotomy of like roles in relationships. Like some people, one thing that I was really kind of upset about when people saw the movie, my movie as well as others, was everyone wanted to jump on and say like, oh, he's abusing her, which again, I could see that. I do understand and register that, but at the same time, it's like if you're gonna recognize his abuse towards her, you need to recognize the abuse that he had. He was abused as a child. He was abused in his teen years sexually, and abuses himself mentally with all this stuff. And then here comes this woman who's changing him for, I feel, the better, which I always found like really interesting, and I kind of like that idea. So, yeah.
So with the 50 Shades of Grey fan film, and then like Unfriended, is it encouraging or more frustrating for you to see so many like similarities between things that you do and then what Hollywood produces?
Yeah. It is, especially because like you said, like right after I saw the film come out, I was like, oh, that's cool. I like their interpretation of it. They went for a like different style. Not to mention, I wasn't ready at that level yet. When I did it, it was a kind of like an experimentation of like, can I do like, I've done a lot of gritty films. Can I do something like kind of suave and beautiful and slick? And then I brought that into Call Girl, another film of mine, which was a lot better after what I learned from it. But when I saw the poster come out, I was just like, that looks very familiar. Like the whole, like, cuts off at the face and everything. They went black and white. The fact that he's holding something that's very iconic to like what the character is in his hand. They just chose a tie as opposed to a thing. Now, I'm not saying they copied me. I'm not really, I honestly believe that. But it brings up the questions like, did they? Or if anything,
right.
Do I have the right idea? For me, it's a little bit more kind of like, see, Hollywood? I know what you want.
You might actually be referring to a different poster then, because I was referring to the one where he's standing in front of the glass looking at the Seattle skyline.
That's another one, but that's not a poster we made. That was a screenshot from the film where he's looking out and there's the Seattle, like, it's just his back, and then we put the little, the Space Needle, was it called? Right out there.
Something like that.
Yeah, and it was a little tighter, but it was like the same thing, like, because it was like an iconic image, like a man on top of the world, like built, like just, it was like a cool image that I thought of when we were shooting these random shots for the fake trailer. And then when I saw it in their first initial preview poster, I was like, that's a little close. But you know what? Again, like that's kind of like the obvious way to go. Which, again, I've always felt with my images. I feel like I have a good eye for like what sells. Speaking of which, about Call Girl, I made a poster for a film, for the film, and it was kind of just it's her. It's black and white. It's based off an image I had in my head for a long time, for the 2 years that I've had this idea. The gun and all that stuff was added recently, and then Call Girl, all that stuff, cuts off thing, because I just like that image of it. But that was, I actually brought the 50 Shades idea after I had that idea. And my producer said like, it's a cute one. I think we should make a better one. It's just a little cliche. And I was like, oh, well, okay. We'll make something else. This will be the teaser poster. He was all for it. And then a little bit later, he showed the trailer as well as the poster to some substantial producers or investors, and they looked at the posters like, I could sell that movie with that poster alone. And I was like, hey, remember that poster you said you didn't like? Is that the poster he was talking about? And so it's I find it like kind of a little bit more
encouraging
or something like that, knowing that like I'm doing something
you got the right mindset.
I have the right mindset. Like obviously, it's like, come on, Hollywood, if that's what you want, I could do that.
Yeah.
So.